Real quickly, I know it's been a couple of weeks, but we're trying to catch up from all the 18,000 pay-per-views. But we got a number of emails about the all-in, both the live experience and a pay-per-view experience. And I picked a couple of them out because they both involved somebody who knew what was going on, kind of, and somebody who was a novice type of fan or just a casual person, right? So we get both viewpoints in the same emails. And this one is from Remy. I don't know if Remy, R-E-M-Y, is a male or a female, so I will just call them them. Dear Jim, I recently watched the AEW All-In pay-per-view for free at a friend's house during a brunch get-together. We're only 2 out of the 10 people in attendance had ever even heard of AEW. Apparently, the friend that was having the brunch commandeered the television and said everybody's going to watch this. But anyway, I thought you might like to hear how non-wrestling fans reacted to this premium live event. By far, the match that got the most reaction was the Plummer Moxley Stadium Stampede, and it was definitely not positive. Some of the comments shouted were, "Why would anyone do this to themselves? Who's on whose team again?" And of course, who the hell is that old lady in the van and why did she bring cupcakes? There were also many other times throughout the morning, good God, well, maybe they were playing a tape rather than, but other times throughout the morning when people repeatedly kept asking, why are so many of these fights about being someone's best friend? My girlfriend, who had seen many WWE matches because of me up until this point, seemed extremely put off by the whole ordeal, along with many others in attendance, with the Stadium Stampede being the low point in which female in question left the room in disgust. Well, that's from the casual folks at the brunches. I don't know if that makes up all of the AEW audience, but they ask pithy questions.
Yeah,
right?
I don't know if AEW is big with the brunch crowd.
The brunch crowd. But here's a live event report.
I'll have a mimosa.
Now, wait a minute. You've got to get the, I'll have a mimosa. You got to get this is the live event.
What voice were you doing?
It's a lilting, it's like a queen, a Camilla type of thing.
Well, they didn't say they were at the event. They said they were watching it for brunch.
No, this one is.
Oh.
That one was brunch. This one is live. They'd all have British accents.
That was your Camilla?
They would sound like Camilla.
That's not bad.
Camilla Parker, but here's the thing. He had Diana. He had Diana because, for fuck's sake, look at him. He looked like a cross between a basset hound and a fucking beagle with that face that was melting. It looked like his face was melting.
Will you stop it? Enough people made fun of his ears.
Diana,
and you gotta...
but then he goes back to Camilla, who, my God, she had so many wrinkles on her face. When she wore long earrings, she looked like Venetian blinds.
But when they took their clothes off, she obviously did something that he could never get past.
That's all the fucking fat rolled out, and he couldn't get past it.
He was
still searching.
Oh, well, ladies and gentlemen, this is why there will be no more UK tours for Jim Cornette.
Well, I'm just telling you. Diana, Camilla, something's not wrong or not right with that picture. Anyway, Harry.
Oh,
Palmer.
No. You're going to say he's not Prince Charles's son?
No, he's not. Harry is from Epping. Or is that his last name, Harry Epping? There's a dash there. Maybe there is a place called Epping. Harry Epping, over there in
Epping,
the
England.
UK. Yeah, Epping, England. Wrote, I attended All In with my girlfriend who doesn't watch wrestling, but we went for something to do over the bank holiday weekend. They got that bank holiday over there. I don't know what. In the United States, banks are almost never open. Like bankers' hours, that's where that came from. Apparently, over there, it's a big holiday that they're closed. Anyway, we wanted to give you some idea of who the crowd cared for because I've already watched some matches back on TV, and it didn't represent the whole stadium. And you know that because here's the thing. You will find in a big event, high-priced tickets, the people that go and go for the high-priced tickets down close to the ring are usually the most diehard fans, the most dedicated, and they are somewhat the most jaded, right? And they've seen everything. But when you get a real big crowd that includes casual people from the city or whatever, if there is such a thing anymore, those people up in the cheap seats are hopping up and down and just throwing the babies in the air, right? Over some things people on the floor might not like. So anyway, Joe and Punk's match was massively over. Still a ton of mixed reactions to Punk, but both guys got huge chants, and my girlfriend was super into this. Trios match, Golden Elite versus Bullet Club Gold. Why can't somebody be silver or platinum? Here's another thing I'm asking. Golden Elite versus Bullet Club Gold. Finger Bang had some big chants throughout the stadium, and Take a Shit actually had a Take a Shit chant at one point. I wonder if they were saying it like that. I don't think the crowd was super into it compared to other matches. Girlfriend wasn't really into this. FTR versus Buckaroos. This was genuinely crazy. Plenty of Buckaroos and FTR fans going at each other and made this even better. Every near fall for both teams had a super loud reaction. Both teams had the crowd on strings. Girlfriend again liked this match. Anarchy Arena match. Too much going on at once. Couldn't keep up watching. Even when people came out in the rafters, people couldn't really tell. All the shithousery that happened in the ring got a big pop. Girlfriend was more shocked than anything. Her words, "Why the fuck would he do that?" Referring to the plumber spot with the sticks in the head. More cringing than cheering for this match. Well, that's what you want to do. You want to make the crowd cringe a lot. Women's four-way. Piss break. Jericho versus Ospreay. As much as I felt this was a vanity project, especially with the Queen reference at Wembley, Jericho's entrance was hard not to get sucked into. Well, that could be true because it sucks so hard, right, Brian?
No, because I think even if you don't like Jericho, if you're surrounded by that many people that, especially for that big occasion, are into singing his song, I could see why it would get tough. Why it would be tough not to get sucked into the vortex of Jericho.
Yeah, well, and I was making a joke there. That's what he says. Jericho's entrance was hard not to get sucked into. Spine-chilling with 80,000 singing Judas. Both guys over, and both guys got massive reactions throughout the match. Girlfriend commented on if the whole springing around from Ospreay was necessary, but still enjoyed it. Trios titles, which was acclaimed at, I think, the House of Black, or who was it? Yeah. Girlfriend said, "I ain't scissoring no daddy ass." And the main event
was someone asking her to? Why would that be your comment?
Well, because the Acclaimed were involved. And everybody was, does the scissor me daddy ass?
Okay.
Apparently she's not a daddy ass fan of the scissoring of the Jell-O pudding. And the main event, we were eating out of their palms. Even after all the bullshit and great matches through the night, the crowd for 40 minutes pretty much was on the edge of their seats. And I've never experienced anything like this. Oh, you young people. MJF's "We Are Gonna Go Until We Get a Fucking Winner at Wembley" blew the roof off the roofless Wembley, and everyone was on their feet going crazy. So, and he said, "I think everyone expected a controversial ending and didn't get it in the sense of a title change, but the crowd was happy nonetheless." So the girlfriends are the ones that get through to the meat of the matter, so to speak, and ask the pithy questions that we all basically say logical people ask. Apparently it's the women that have their heads screwed on straight. They got to start screwing the guys more often on straight.
All right, well, these were the live notes from AEW All In. Of course, if you want to be a part of this, next year they'll be returning to Wembley.
Boy, I'll tell you, wait a minute,
What is that?
Right now there's a helicopter. It's the second time this morning a helicopter has flown over my house at a low level. I'm starting to think that Rob Ellen has hired somebody to keep an eye on me. He said the SEC didn't take kindly to our threats. Anyway.
What are you going to think when I start a new company called Podcast 2?
Oh, touche. He hadn't got it trademarked.
No, I will be the owner of Podcast 2.
And then when Podcast 1 goes out of business, and podcast like when Mr. Wrestling 1 retired, Mr. Wrestling 2 Then he just became Mr. Wrestling. So then you'll just be Podcast.
Coincidentally enough, Podcast wasn't trying to pump itself up like Hercules Hernandez.
I was there at Channel 3 in Shreveport. We were doing the local promos the one day, and people remarked on this that were fans at the time. I may have it on tape. I don't know if it exists now. But we're doing the local promos for the live events. And I'm managing Hercules. And he's working with Duggan in a coal miner's glove match or whatever. And I would do the promo, and then I would, like the Yoko thing with Bonsai, I'd give Hercules, because I knew I wasn't going to be with him for the rest of his life. I wanted him to have some speaking also. I'd give him the big pithy go home line or whatever. And one time I said whatever I was going to say, and he just hit a double bicep and said, "Look at this, Duggan, 10 Diana Ball a day."
And the audience had no idea what he was talking about.
They didn't in 1984. They had no fucking clue, but it aired like that. It aired. Because what the fuck? Nobody knew, cared, didn't matter. I have a feeling that's probably more Diana Ball a day than you're supposed to take, though. At least in 1984, in whatever fashion he was getting it.
Yeah, where did guys get their shit in Mid-South?
Well, the same thing is, if you went to a gym, a workout facility, not like gyms now, like where the soccer moms go to run on the treadmill, but if you went to a place where guys worked out, football players, bodybuilders, wrestlers, whatever the case, in any part of the United States in those days, you would probably be gratified, not instantly, but fairly shortly thereafter. Because you couldn't even get in trouble. It wasn't illegal yet. It ain't illegal yet. Was that a Funkadelic?